Hello, my dear friends. Greetings of the day. We are again back in the channel that is Hospitality Education PPT, and it is our learning time. As you all know that we are continuing with a series on understanding meat basics, and today is our part 7, and it is a last session or last part under this series that is meat understanding meat basic. Already we have completed 6, and there we have discussed very thoroughly about the meat, starting from the classifications, their cuts, also their usage, different technical terms. We have clarified everything. Hope that theoretical input will definitely help you in understanding the things in a better way in your practical lab. Okay, today our session is another one, very exciting session. Here we are going to discuss about the fabrication part. If you remember well that in our last session we have discussed about the pre-preparation of chicken along with the processing of chicken up to before the fabrications rather, and since after we are going to start the lesson today that will discuss about the fabrications, how it will be done, and at the same time we are going to learn about few technical applications, that is trussing. We'll talk about trussing, we'll talk about larding in detail, and we'll also talk about barding in detail. Okay, so with that view, this session will be continued for 35 to 40 minutes, and hope you'll be staying connected with the session and note down the informations as a part of your learning. And of course, any at the end of the session, any comments, any viewpoints, any gap of understanding, you can put me in the comment box below, and I'll get back to you with the proper answers. So without going for further delay through talking and talking, let us back to the business, and I welcome you to the channel once again, that is Hospitality Education PPT. So now we'll see that what are the points we are going to discuss in this particular session, that is the agenda. Now agenda is what? First one, to discuss about the dressed chicken, to get a concept of dressed chicken, along with 8-piece cut of chicken, that is the international cut. We'll elaborate on that, and then we'll definitely discuss about the Indian common cuts and names. Then the standard yield, will clarify the term yield, and we'll try to understand different yields after doing the fabrication or butchery work. And finally, we'll be learning about trussing of chicken, how it is to be trussed, how that larding and barding will be conducted. So these are the area we are going to touch up today. Firstly, to get a concept about the dressed chicken. Dressed chicken means what? A dressed chicken refers to a chicken that has been prepared for cooking by removing the feathers, skin. It depends. It can be with skin, without skin, and internal organs. That means all will be removed. This process makes the chicken ready for culinary use and ensuring that only the edible parts remain. So in our last session, if you just get yourself connected, you'll find that there we have mentioned about pre-preparation of poultry bird, that is chicken, before the actual fabrications. Now actually our process will start from there. There we have learned first was skinning of bird, if you remember it, or else you can get back the video once again to reinstall it in your mind. And then it was hanging of the plucking of feathers. That stage is basically a part of dressing a chicken. Now, this plucking of hairs can be done along with the skin. Sometimes it can be done only the feathers, not the skin. Why it is so? That we are going to learn today. We get two kinds of process. One is with skin, other one is without skin. And with skin, when the bird will be looked like this after plucking, this will be known as English dressed bird. English dressed means with the skin. And another one where the skin and feathers all are removed from outside, that is known as the Asian or Indian dressed bird. Okay. Now, what are the features of English dressed bird? No feathers. That is, of course, in both the cases the same. With undamaged skin. The skin should be there, and ensuring that the skin has got no damaged sign or symbol. So it will be unblemished. No knuckle joints. Knuckle joints is the end of the bone, end of the leg. There will be some extended bony part that has to be removed. Knuckle joint. And no internal inedible parts. So that is a feature of an English dressed bird. Now let us see what are the feature of Indian dressed or Asian style of dressed bird. No feathers, of course. Same thing we can understand. No skin remaining. In this case, the skin is removed. No knuckle bones, similar like the earlier one, and no internal inedible parts. So if you see these two type of chicken, one is English dressed bird, and it is very clear, rather transparent, that all international cuisines we can use the chicken which is like the English dressed bird. So as a chef, we should get that kind of chicken for the preparation of international dishes. And for Indian or Asian dishes, definitely will go for a bird which is known as the Indian dressed bird or Asian dressed bird, and especially also sometimes it is known as Bengal dressed bird. But Bengal dressed bird is basically known in Bengal only, so I am not emphasizing on that. It is Indian dressed bird without skin, without feathers, and another one is English dressed bird, which is without feather and with skin only. So that is the concept of the dressed chicken or dressed bird. So whenever we will go for any international preparation, we will go for, yes, English dressed bird. And whenever we will go for the Indian or Asian cuisines, then definitely we will go for Indian dressed bird. Very simple. Okay. With that, we proceed to the next. Now, we are going to learn the first international cut, that is known as 8-piece cut from a whole chicken, which is known as the international cut. Also, sometimes we call it saute cut, as because saute is basically the basic method adopted for most of the French preparations. That is why the name is synonymous, that saute cut. However, we internationally it is known as 8-piece cut or a international cut. What is that? Why it is required? Buying a whole chicken instead of individual parts is often more economical. So buying a whole chicken instead of individual parts, if you ask for the individual parts from the market, definitely the cost will be higher. So as because it is a commercial venture, so definitely we should go for the cost cut down. We should not be cheated somewhere. So we should go for a whole chicken, and once the whole chicken will be there in your premises, in your lab, definitely we are going to cut them into individual parts. Okay. If you don't want to roast or grill a whole chicken at once, you need to cut into individual parts before you cook it. So if you are requiring it for roasting purpose, or if you are requiring it for a whole bird will be grilled, then the whole bird will be retained for it. If not, if you require it for different other preparations, definitely need to cut them into individual pieces. And that cut is basically 8-piece cut that we are going to talk about. And There are 7 steps for cutting a whole chicken into 8 pieces. Out of that, 2 breast into halves, 2 thighs, 2 drumstick and 2 wings. This is altogether 8 pieces we get from a whole chicken, and there are 7 steps involved in cutting that. So we'll clarify the steps one by one out here. Step 1. Firstly, you have to place the board on the working table like this. That means the backbone will be on the table side, leg will be placing like these towards you, and the breast part will be also on top. So this is the way we are going to place the board on the working table. So lay the board on its back, wiggle a wing to determine where the joint attaches to the breast. Now we'll pick up the wing first. Now we'll hold the wing with one hand and try to wiggle it. Wiggle means irregularly rotating it this side, that side, up and down. Why? To locate the joint. Joint of what? Between the, you can see in the image that is the winglet, the joint, and this is the breast area. So where the winglet are connected with the breast area, the joint is lying there. Once you wiggle it, you can find out or locate the joint area. And always remember that your knife should pass through the joint, then automatically and very easily the portion will be cut. If it is by chance the knife is on the bone, what will happen? There will be resistance from the bone, and of course your cut won't be smooth. You have to give lots of pressure. So always remember that whenever you are cutting the joints, you should always try to cut it from the through the joint bones. Okay. So here also we are going to wiggle the winglet to find out or to locate the joint. Once you find the joint, use a sharp knife like this and pass it through the joint. Automatically the winglet will be coming out. And repeat the same process with the other winglet as well. Okay, so first step is over. So what we are doing out here, we are placing the part, and remember we have taken a English dress part, that means with the skin, because it's the international preparation, right? Now first we locate the joint of the winglet along with the shoulder and pass the knife through the joint and separate these two parts. The winglets are removed. Now we'll go for the step 2. What is step 2? You can see the image. The winglets are removed. Now, if you come back to the leg area, you will see that leg and the main body is covered with the skin. So you have to release the skin. So take a sharp knife and cut the skin along with the leg from both the sides. So what will happen? Once the skin will be cut or slitted, the legs will be released and it will fall apart. Okay, so that is the step 2. And then step 3. What we are going to do, we'll do the same thing. Hold the leg in one hand and wiggle it to determine the joint location. And if you just bend the leg a bit, you'll be able to find out a ball socket is visible. Ball socket is the indication of the joint. Once you find out the ball socket, you pass the knife to the joint area and automatically and very easily the entire leg will be removed. I repeat once again. First, step number 2, slit the skin from both the sides so that 2 legs are released and they will fall apart. Automatically there is no binding. Now, little bit for the beginner, you wiggle the leg to locate the joint. And another one you can do what? That hold the leg and bend it at the back. Once you bend the leg, you can find out that ball socket is visible. Once this ball socket is visible, that is the area of joint. Now you just pass the sharp knife. You can use a boning knife or paring knife to cut the leg through the joint and repeat the process for the other leg as well. So your two legs will be separated by that time. Clear? Now step 4. You can see that we have removed two winglets, two legs are removed. Now place the leg upside down. That means the skin side down. You can see that the skin side is at the bottom. Now once you put that, you can see that here in between at the middle there is a line, off-white color line will be visible. That is nothing but the presence of fat will be visible over there. And this presence of fat or accumulation of fat will be there around the joint. So once you locate the joint over there, place the knife on top of the line of fat and give a press. Automatically these two parts will be separated. One is drumstick and other one is the thigh. So drumstick and thigh will be separated through the joint. Where you can find out the joint, the line of fat will be visible. How we are going to place the leg on the chopping board? The skin side down. Then only you will be able to see this line of demarcation. This is the indication of joint. And pass the knife through the joint. Automatically either you can use a boning knife or you can use a paring knife or butcher's knife. Press it, cut it through that. This drumstick and the thigh will be separated. Right? So step 4 is over. Now step 5. Now we'll come back to the breast area. Now breast area, this step 5 and next one step 6 are either step 5 or step 6. Okay. What we can do now, we have already removed two winglets. We have already removed two leg part and two legs are made into 4 pieces. Clear? Now we are going to remove the breast part. What we can do now, starting from the neck side towards the tail, along with the breastbone plate, will make a slit with the sharp knife. And this slit will be continuously done so that we can reach to this end of the winglet joint. Once you repeat the process, go on slitting it, automatically the breast part will be removed. Okay, and we can repeat the same process from the other side as well. What will happen in this case, in this style, the breast will be absolutely coming out free of any bones, rather it is a boneless piece will come out. So two boneless pieces will come out. So what will be remaining? The remaining is the bony carcass. The bony carcass can be utilized for making a stock. Clear? If we are not following step 5, then we will go to the step 6, which is also very similar process where we cut it along with the bones. What we are going to do is that we will take out the breast part with the help of knife, place it like this, that means the skin side down, and from the middle with a heavy knife cut it from the middle. What will happen? Two breasts will be removed along with the bones. Clear? So it is another way also taking out the 8 pieces. So ultimately now what we are having in our hand, we are in the 7th step now. 7th step is basically nothing. Now we are having 8 nice piece of chicken in our hand, and it is like this. You can see that these are the two legs, the drumstick and thigh, 4 pieces. The breast we have removed either with bone or without bones, cut into 2 pieces each. So 4 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pieces are there. Sometimes we don't remove the winglet. Rather we cut the winglet from the second joint. So this is the first joint, this is the second joint. We can trim the winglet from the second joint and let this part be attached with the breast. So in that way, the size of the breast will be little bigger. So it is totally depending on your purpose. But basic purpose is that we have cut it into 8 pieces, that we have given the name 8 pieces cut or a saute cut or international cut, that is done. Okay, from a whole chicken English dressed part. If you are having any questions, any doubt, you can put me there in the comment box. Definitely I'll get back to you as always to clarify your doubt. And remember this, once you know this theoretical input with the image in front of you, it will be very easy for you to perform in the class whenever you are getting a chance to do the butchery or the fabrication of the chicken. Now, let us get acquainted with different parts of the chicken with their Indian names and cut. Because Indian names are little different because we more use the Hindi words over there as because we are in our country. So naturally it is obvious for us to know first time, especially for the beginners. What is that? First one, the whole chicken is termed as murgi, often used in traditional recipes where the chicken is cooked whole. They are a style we call it murgi. Another one, the breast part of the chicken. In English we call it breast, and in Indian local language we call it chhati. A versatile cut that's used in the dishes like chicken tikka and butter chicken. So that we can use the earlier process of taking out the breast. We have already learned that. We can follow the same way to make it boneless or with bone. Accordingly, we can prepare it for the preparation. And in local language, Indian local language, we call it chat. Another one, leg. Leg is known as tangri. Tangri. Popular for grilling and making tandoori chicken. Okay. Thigh part means tangri. Above that tangri, the part is known as thigh. Tangri in English we call it the drumstick. Now thigh is known as ran, known for its tenderness and used in curries and biryani. Clear? So it is known as ran. So drumstick, tangri and thigh part is known as ran. Next, drumstick also another one name, chusa, commonly used in South Indian dishes like chicken chettinad. Chusa kebab is also there. Okay, so chusa is the particular name of drumstick. Wing, wing or winglets known as pankhuri. Pankhuri, often marinated and fried or used in spicy preparations. Merely for preparing some snacks, we can use this wing, or we call it in Indian local language pankhuri. Liver is another one internal edible parts which is known as kaleji. Kaleji considered a delicacy and cooked with spices. There are different Indian preparations with the kaleji which are very very popular among the local people. And gizzard, the internal part, the stomach, is known as the garur. Garur usually cooked as a snack or added to curries. So these are the basic Indian terms we can use in our Indian preparations. Now, common cuts, especially for Indian, and their typical uses in the cuisine. Let us get those cuts as well. Now we are getting two different kind of cuts categorically. One is bone-in or with bone chicken cuts. With bone chicken cuts, or we also internationally call it bone-in cuts. Okay. Under that, what do we get? Bone-in cuts, whole chicken. Like this is the whole chicken without skin. You can see for Indian preparations, or we can cut it into curry cuts, mainly used for chicken curry or chicken korma. They are cut into small pieces like this, curry cuts into chunk, and bones are used because they add on flavor and taste to the gravy or the curry we are going to prepare. So that is one whole chicken with bone. Another one is known as a drumstick and thigh. These cuts are juicy and flavorful, making them ideal for dishes like tandoori chicken or chicken biryani. Here you can see the drumstick. These are the cuts used. Then chicken wings, pankhuri, commonly used in the appetizers like chicken wings, fry. or as a part of mixed curries. Here you can see that winglets are trimmed and cut like this. Sometimes the internal bones are also removed and they are stuffed in that. Okay, they used for making different kind of snacks in Indian style. Okay, this is one bone-in cuts. Another one, of course, a boneless chicken cut. First is a chicken breast. You can see the boneless chicken breast in the image. It's preferred for making kebabs, chicken tikka kebabs, and stir fry dishes. Stir fry means saute, especially in a Chinese style. It cooks quickly and is lean. This breast part having no fat in indeed. Chicken thighs. These are more flavorful and tender than breast. Why? Because in our earlier class we have mentioned that chicken breast is the area which is not exposed to that much of exercises. As a result, they are little white in color and whitish in color and little tough. Little tough is little soft. Sorry, they are not tough, they are soft. Chicken thighs, whereas leg is exposed to exercise, that's why the color you can see they are reddish in color, dark in color, and because of the flow of oxygen and blood, they becomes very juicy and tender. So you can easily use it for any flavorful preparations like chicken tikka masala, butter chicken, etc. Okay. Now we'll talk about the yield. The word yield, maybe first time you are hearing. Maybe first time you are hearing. A general yield you can expect that to get from a whole raw chicken after the bones have been removed is approximately 65% of the weight of the chicken. First of all, what is yield? If I want to mention that, yield is the net weight obtained after the fabrication or after each step of fabrication. First of all, suppose you are purchasing a whole live bird from the market. So whole live bird, it has got feathers, skins, and the legs and everything. And we, of course, we don't require that. We then kill a bird, remove. Suppose that time it was 2 kgs in weight. Now once you receive the bird after killing, you remove the feathers. Maybe in Indian style, you are removing the skin. You are removing the internal inedible parts, that is the entrails, and also you are cutting the leg off into small pieces, not the knuckle bones are there. So once you remove all those things and discard all those things, automatically the weight will come down. Say, for the timing I am talking about, it coming down to 1.5 kgs. So 1.5 kg is the yield. It means actual usable amount obtained after every operations. Now once you get 1.5 kgs of bird after dressing it properly, then you go for further fabrications. It can be with bone, it can be without bone, as we have learned immediately. So now we are talking about a general yield. If that is the yield concept, the yield means, I repeat once again, the net amount obtained after every operations. A general yield can be expect to get from a whole raw chicken after the bones have been removed is approximately 65%. So we are telling that once you receive the bird and you dress it properly and then you are going for a boneless cut, you get 65% of the weight of the chicken. The yield from a whole cooked chicken, now once that chicken will be cooked, of course there will be reduction of weight. There is another yield, cooking yield, and that will be around 45%. So once we get the whole chicken raw and remove the bones and other unwanted parts out of it, it becomes 65% of the raw weight. And once it is cooked, it becomes 45%. So one example is given out here. If we are getting a 1.36 kg whole chicken, it will yield 0.9 kg raw meat and 0.6 kg cooked meat. Clear? The yield is clear? Okay. Now, when you cut a standard whole chicken, say about 1.5 kg, and cutting into pieces for a curry cut with bone, you typically get around 10 to 12 pieces. That is a standard. How many pieces you get from a standard bard of 1.5 kg? 10 to 12 pieces. Yes, right. Here's a general breakdown. Now let us see that from the legs. Legs means I am talking about the drumstick. 2 pieces we are getting. Thighs we are getting 2 pieces. Wings we are getting 2 pieces. So and then the breast part. 2 breast. Standard weight if the breast is, then from 2 breast we are getting 4 pieces. If the breast is little bigger in size, then we can cut it into 3 pieces each. That means 6 pieces. So if you add on this, either you get 10 pieces minimum or 12 pieces maximum. That is the curry cut will come out. That is a standard. You should remember that. And if you are kg 1 kg, net 1 kg chicken boneless meat, then how many pieces you can cut out of it? You can get 30 to 35 pieces of chicken tikka cut. 1 kg of boneless chicken, we can get 30 to 35 pieces of chicken tikka cut, and this is around, each pieces will be around 25 to 30 grams each. This is a common standard size. Otherwise, the uniformity of your fabrication or butchery would be there. So these are the standards. For the beginners, it is very, very important. Now, gist of this particular slide is that if you get a raw chicken and if you want to remove the bones and skin out of that, you will be getting 65% yield. Yield I have mentioned, it is a net amount obtained after every operation. Now, when the 65% chicken is cooked, further there will be reduction and cooking yield will be 45% of the raw weight. One example is given, 1.3 kg is a whole chicken, we get 0.9 kg as a raw meat and 0.6 kg as a cooked meat. If you get 1.5 kg of whole chicken and you can go for a curry cut with bone, how many pieces will come out? 10 to 12 pieces. How 10 to 12 pieces will come out? That calculation also we have given out here. From the legs or drumstick, 2 pieces. From the thighs, we get 2 pieces. From the wings, we are getting 2 pieces. Breast, 4 to 6 pieces. Why 2 breasts? Each breast can be cut into 2 pieces each. If it is like that, then 4 pieces altogether we are getting. If the breast is little bigger, then we can cut it into 3 pieces each. That means 6 pieces. So if you add on the entire thing, you get either 10 pieces minimum or 12 pieces maximum. That is the standard yield. Another one information very important for you. If you get 1 kg of boneless chicken meat, you can get standard 30 to 35 pieces boneless, and each of them will be around 25 to 30 grams each and mainly used for chicken tikka. So that is also clear. Even nowadays you also get to know that chili chicken cut, chili chicken also having the same cut, it can be with bone and without bones as well. Okay, fair enough. Now we are going to learn about the word trussing a chicken. Trussing is basically what? Trussing, a simple way is explaining is that to tie up the bird. Why we need to do that? Because during the cooking process there is a possibility whenever you are roasting the whole bird in the oven, there is a possibility that it will be deformed due to the application of heat. So presentation part is, which is very important in the food world, that will be lost. To prevent that, trussing is very important. Trussing is basically tying up the part with a thread. What is that? Trussing a chicken is an important step in preparing a roasted chicken. Remember, trussing involves tying the chicken snugly, means tightly, with kitchen twine so that the wings and legs stay close to the body. It will be very compact to look at. This makes the chicken more compact, which helps it cook evenly. Heat will be distributed and it will be cooked very evenly. Trussing a chicken also helps prevent the tips of the wings and legs from burning and makes the cooked chicken look more attractive than you serve it. I have mentioned in the beginning that it will help in the presentation Once it will be sangly tied up, trussing is done, then what will happen? It will look very compact. The breast and leg on winglets will be all in a very close positions. It will facilitate in even cooking process, and also it will prevent the burning of the tips of the winglets and the legs. Okay, that's it. Now we'll see how it is to be done in different steps. Firstly, we'll take a 3 feet long cooking twine or kitchen twine. Like this, you can see the image. On a tray, a bird is kept, which is dressed along with the skin, because trussing is mainly required for the international cooking. And we have to select a bird with the skin, and this is the twine in the kitchen. This twine is a plain unbleached cotton twine that's strong enough to hold a chicken together but won't burn, melt, or otherwise ruin your roast. So we'll have to select a twine which is basically a cotton twine having a strain to hold the chicken properly, and it won't melt, it won't get burned inside the oven. For an average chicken, about 3 feet of twine we require. You might not need that much, but it is better to start off with a little too much of twine, and then you can easily cut it off. So firstly, we are going to start with a 3 feet long kitchen twine, which is made of cotton, having a strength not prone to burn, melt, or otherwise ruin. Clear? That is the first thing. Now position the chicken. How to be positioned? You see in the image that the back side will be on the table, the legs will be towards you, our breast is on top. Now we are going to place the twine below these legs and below the tail end. That means the person's nose. We have used this term already, oil gland. Okay. So we are positioning the kitchen twine like this, below these three areas. Right. And then we are doing this crisscross. We are taking this thread, overlapping this, taking the legs into loop and crossing these two threads like this and pulling it in from both the ends. There is a crisscross. What is that? Lift the twine, loop each and around the legs as shown, and then reverse the twine to make a cross. So this cross, you can see this made, and it is very easy to do that. It is considering the legs and considering the oil gland or the person's nose. Okay. Next step is what? Pull the twine tight. We are pulling it more, we are pulling it, these two legs are coming closer, and then flip the chicken over. That means we are making the chicken upside down. Once we are making upside down, and turn the thread around the neck like this. This is the only tricky bit. Pull the ends of the twine forward and loop it around the front of the chicken and over the wings. So while doing that, we are taking the thread from the legs toward the front side. We are ensuring that two winglet bones are compact, and these below the neck we are taking this thread. Okay, and over the wings. Then flip the chicken upside down so that the neck is now facing you, keeping the twine pulled tight. Okay, so we have done that. Once that is done, the next is secure the twine and tie a knot. At this end, what we are doing, remember this is the front side now, and we are pulling the thread very tightly and giving a knot over there. So you can well understand that it is first taking the two legs and the person's nose together, and then coming to the front and ultimately holding the breast and the neck together in a very compact manner, and you are giving a tight knot over there. Now we can just tie a knot so that the twine stays secured underneath the neck bone. Clear? The final trussed chicken is looking like this. It is very compact. You can see that how close and how compact they are. All the winglets are attached to the body, all the legs are attached to the body. So this is ready for roasting or entire grilling. If you are having any excess part of twine left in your hand, trim it off, and this chicken is ready for, it is totally trussed properly, very compact in color appearance. You can use it for roasting purpose. It is the simplest way how trussing is to be done. If you are still having some doubt, you can repeat this video once you are free and get it acquainted with the term. Now this is a hand trussing. There is another word trussing is there, which is needle trussing, which is done in a very similar way with the help of a needle, like we stitch it. It is also done. I am not covering that part out here. Now, in our last class, we have used the term barding, and that time I have also told you that we are having another one term which is known as larding. So we are going to clarify these two terms which are very, very important for us. So what is larding? Larding is a culinary technique that involves inserting strips of fat called larding, strips of pork fat into the meat that are low in fat to enhance their flavor and moisture content during the cooking by using a larding needle. So larding is basically what it is done for the lean meat, for the lean meat. Because already we have learned that there is a marbling of meat, where we get to see that natural accumulation of intramuscular fat inside the flesh. In such meat where your marbling of fat is not there, then you have to do some process. Otherwise, the meat will become dry. So it is applicable for basically a lean meat. Lean meat means which has got no fat, trace of fat. How we can do? We can use a larding needle and we can insert the strips of pork fat, which is also called lardu, inside the meat. And what will happen? During the roasting process, the heat will help the fat to melt and it will be dripped inside the flesh. As a result, the meat will remain juicy and soft. That is the whole idea of larding. We take it little more further. This is particularly important for lean cuts of meat, as I have mentioned, which can become dry and tough when roasted or cooked for long periods. So of course the lean meat will become dry in a short span of time. By adding fat internally, the meat remains juicy and tender. As the fat melts and bursts the meat from the inside, automatically the fat will melt and penetrate the meat. As a result, the meat will remain juicy. This method not only improves the texture but also contributes to a richer taste, making dishes more succulent and enjoyable. Clear? Larding is a traditional method that has been used for centuries to improve the quality of meat during the cooking process. Now this is all theoretical I have explained. Now let us see the image. You can see the chunk of meat which has hardly any impression of fat present. This is the larding needle you can see, and it is the pork strips or lardu. So actually this needle has got a channel sort of thing. We can place these strips of pork fat in the channel and insert the needle from one end and take it out from the other end. And again take out the needle, pull it off. So what will happen? This fat will be there inside, and once you take out the needle in opposite direction, automatically the fat will remain inside the meat. Here you can see already first, second and third occasions it is done and all the fat are inserted inside. Now just think of when this chunk of meat will be roasted, what will happen because of the heat? Because of the heat, This fat will melt. Once it will melt, it will drip inside. As a result, what will happen? The meat will remain soft and juicy. It won't become dry. That is the facility we get through larding process. So larding is nothing but inserting pork fat or lardun inside the lean meat before roasting or grilling by using a larding needle. Clear? Okay. And then what is barding? Very similar one. Thin slice of pork or bacon fat which are placed around lean meat joints of meat, some game birds and poultry, and even some fish before roasting to prevent them from drying out. Larding, we have mentioned that inserting the pork fat inside the flesh. Barding is basically covering the lean meat with the bacon fat. Okay, why bacon fat or pork fat? Because the melting point of pork or bacon fat is more than the normal fat. That is why pork fat or bacon fat is used. So barding is basically covering the meat from outside with the bacon fat. Larding is basically inserting the pork fat inside the meat, lean meat, by using a larding needle. Now, barding is also used as a lining for path. Sometimes you can say pate, but it is pronounced as path, cooked in the pastry or terrine that you are going to learn in the higher semester. And the fats are generally removed before serving, except a few like partridge and other game and parts. Normal cases, this layer of fat which is covering on top, that is removed before serving, but in some cases like partridge, game birds and other separately some part, we can always use it at the time of serving as well. It is not advised for some very tender meats, as the strong flavor of pork fat might overshadow the taste of the meat. So it is barding is not advised for the tender meat. It is little bit of tough joints are required for that, which are lean by nature. We can adopt it either for barding or we can use for larding. So there is a two options to making the meat moist. It should not go dry. Let us see the image. You can see that this is a bird which is lean type bird which is covered entirely with the bacon fat from all the sides. And now it will be roasted. While roasting, what will happen? This fat will be exposed to the heat first. Automatically it will start melting, and once it will melt, it will penetrate the meat inside. That means this bird will become very juicy in due course of time because of the melted fat present inside. So that is known as barding. Is it clear to you? So any questions if you are having there, we can always contact me in the comment box. So friends, with this, we are at the end of the session, and thanks from my side for attending this session with all attention. Hopefully, this session has given you the exact information about the topic we have tried to cover up. That is basically about the trussing, larding and budding and fabrication of chicken. And next time, I'm very sure that next time whenever you'll be there in your lab, you'll be able to perform in the similar way by following and remembering these guidelines. And once it will be installed in your mind, the task will become very easy for you. Hope you have liked this session, and if you have liked or even not liked some part or any area you are having some questions or queries or doubt, please put me there in the comment box, and of course I'll get you back as earliest from my side to give you the proper reply against your queries raised. And very soon we'll be starting another series from the food production area, very vital, very informative, and hopefully all of you will be again back and you will be connected with me for the coming sessions as well. If you have liked, don't forget to press the like button, then subscribe it, share it with your associates, and we'll get back to you very early in the next week as your perfect session outside your classroom. Till then, thank you, take care, and goodbye.